Hello, my lovely optimal minds. I'm going to be talking about specifically when it comes to executive functioning. So executive functioning skills, this can be a very hot topic for people with ADHD because, let's be honest, it's a challenge for us on a daily basis to really have those executive functioning skills. So I'm going to kind of do a series of different types of videos that talk about different types of executive functioning skills and how to implement it with having ADHD. So let's talk about the first one that I want to talk about is about organization and planning. So organization and planning can be really difficult for us people with ADHD because we get distracted all the time. And whenever we plan something, put it in our book right here, put our little check marks down. Okay, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, and do this. And at the end of the day, we find out we've only done maybe 1 out of the 10. So I want to stop you there when it comes to really making a huge long list of checkpoints. And I've said this before that, it's helped me where, I will, instead of just having a checklist of things I need to accomplish that day, I really do prioritize first what is the most important thing first. And I've talked about this in previous videos too, is that when it comes to willpower, to knowing, when you're going to be motivated to do anything or actually have the willpower to do anything, the best time to do it is at the beginning of the day because our willpower meter decreases throughout the day. And the more that we get distracted, the faster our willpower meter depletes. And so you can imagine with people with ADHD, their willpower depletes before midday because we get distracted a lot. And so if we can eliminate distractions as much as possible altogether, especially from our phone, that's the biggest culprit of distractions, and turning off all those notifications, then our willpower meter will last longer throughout the day. But going back to the planning and structure is when instead of putting a list of everything that you're going to do each day, or, okay, I'm going to do these 10 things. What I want you to do is pick 3, just 3, the 3 most important things that is important for you to do that day. So if you own a business, what are those 3 important things that you need to do for your business to have it scale? If you work for somebody, what are those 3 things that your boss is going to be happy if you get those things done? And by doing those 3 things and doing it at the very beginning of the day, and you get them accomplished, because 3 things is not too big and it's more doable versus a list of 10 things. That's too much. I used to do this all the time. I used to have like 10 different things and I'd finally do like half of them. And guess what happens at the end of the day? We were like, oh my gosh, I didn't do those 5. Oh, great. I'm a terrible person. I got distracted. And so your self-worth can deplete because you didn't finish the other 5. But when you just put 3, and I'm talking about 3 big things, 3 important things that you can accomplish that are the most important thing that you need to get done that day. You do it, and let's say you get it done by, especially if you get up early in the morning. I think it's really a good habit to get up in the morning. Now, I am not an early morning person, still not to this day. But I know by me getting up before 6 o'clock, I can get things done because there's less distractions. Everybody else is asleep, so I don't get distracted by my kids or my wife, and stuff like that. I'm able to get the most important things done in my business before 10 o'clock hits. And the rest of the day doesn't matter because I'm like, wow, I got those things accomplished. And I feel good about myself because I got those things accomplished. So by scheduling in the very beginning of the day, the most important thing, then you can feel good with the rest of the day. So to have better organization and planning and structure, it's more about understanding your willpower, especially with an ADHD mind, because with an ADHD mind, we get distracted so much, so our willpower meter depletes so quickly, is doing things at the very beginning of the day and keep that list very small. Now, on top of that, instead of having just the list, is actually put the time that you're going to do it. So and give yourself a time limit. So let's say, let's say you're in school and you have a paper to write, and instead of saying, okay, I'm going to get that paper done this day or this week, say, okay, I'm going to write the first 2 pages from 6 o'clock to 7 o'clock, 6 a.m. to 7 o'clock. Okay. You give yourself an hour. And by doing that, your brain starts turning. It starts turning, and this takes practice. It starts turning because now you're restricting it to a time frame, and those, creative, my wheels start turning to be able to actually finish that paper within that hour time frame. Now, remember I said, just the first 2 pages. I didn't say the whole entire paper. And this is another trick that you can trick your brain too, especially with the ADHD mind, is by not making the task too daunting. Okay. When we say, okay, I need to write the paper, the full paper today, that could be daunting. But if you just tell yourself, I just need to write the first 2 pages. That's it. That's all I'm going to ask myself, the first 2 pages, and I'm going to do it in this hour frame. Now, you might get the creative juices might be flowing. You're like, you know what? I'm already in the middle of this. Why don't I just finish it? Okay. And that's the trick about, having planning and structure is simplifying it, but also putting it in a time frame as well. And then doing it at the beginning of the day. Now, as far as when it comes to organization, when it comes to the rest of the day, and if you're able to accomplish those 3 things, the rest of the day shouldn't matter. In fact, you should have more freedom to be like, okay, I got those accomplished. So I'm going to go spend time with my kids. I'm going to go spend, time with my significant other, whatever it might be, or with family, with friends. And you should feel okay about that instead of feeling guilty. Instead of what a lot of people will do, they have a list of 10 things. They only get 5 of them done, and then they don't feel accomplished. So that's what I want you guys to do, is try to realize by simplifying it, but make sure it is those 3 most important things that you should be accomplishing. Okay. So by doing that, that's going to make a big difference. All right. But if you are trying to have a more focused and sharp mind and are looking for ways to do that, well, I have a free training going over my proprietary process, helping people with ADHD or a focused and unattentive mind. And that is in the description below. And this is also for parents who have kids with ADHD that can watch this training. So hope you guys got value out of today's video. And until next time, remember, you have an awful mind. Thanks. Bye.